Okay, so here's the display for 2019. I'm gonna go ahead and show every single light set to make sure that next year I put them the same way if I do decide to decorate, that is. But this is another one of those videos where I just show everything I made, maybe the new things, the things that have been here since 2015 or so, and hopefully I can, recur to this video next year to decorate again the same way. So we're gonna begin by this, of course. It's been here since 2015. It's not a big deal, but I guess it's worth showing again. The bicolor light sets. Then we have these intermittent rain lights that two lights actually went out. I had to change them. Merry Christmas sign, which is, here's the other side of it. A Santa Claus head over there. Not really sure if I should even respect the order of like putting Santa here, Santa here. I don't know if I even put them right, so I'm not even gonna bother saying which one is where. Then we have, of course, the first extension, 3 light sets, which are the 2 outer ones for the front, and this one that goes all the way to this middle section over here, right there. Right there. It's nailed and everything. Now they are all static. The ones that have the modes are static, so I can show them properly. Then I'll just show them with the entire, function. But yeah, this one basically goes like that, and it was far too long. I ended up just putting a few nails over here and putting it over there, so it's kind of better illuminated. Then we have the column has this one, which is the, what is it? These are those that the wires are really discolored. Because I don't know if they have been hit by the sun or something, but they are really discolored. The hair, they used to be clear, but now they are kind of a solid, grayish, whitish color. So those go, they begin over here in that middle nail, and they go around there. They give a few turns. I'm not too sure how many turns. Let's see, there's 1, 2, no, okay, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, 6, I believe, 6 turns and something, and they end up here, down there on that nail that I hope doesn't get removed. This is where the singing wreath is supposed to be at. So then we have these. These used to be musical last year, but I ended up removing the sound box. These are completely white, and they go from that first nail over there all the way, I believe, around the here, right there. That's where it finishes. There used to be a set of lights before. I can't exactly remember, but I think there used to be a set of lights that would go all around, but that one broke down really badly. This year, the wires kept coming off the bulbs, so it's better to just retire it, take the sound, not the sound, the control box out and use it for something else. So there's another Santa Claus head. Probably the only Santas I don't even bother cleaning. God. Here's the new extension for this year. This is something I added a few days ago, maybe 2-3 days ago. Now, as I said, those used to be musical. Those have always been the 8 modes one, but there's a few that I know for a fact they used to be musical and then they were modified. But I think those are in my house. If I don't remember, if I remember correctly, I think those got used in my house instead of here. But most of these clear ones, I must have gotten them when I used to buy the defective lights in the Chinese shops and everything. And that one I do remember I bought there. That was defective. But this one, I think one of my mom's friends actually brought it. And all I did was I just removed the control box because I was like, I'm pretty sure there's no way to fix this, because there was one light that was like burned, and this side here was burned, and that was making a complete disconnection. So it was only one red bulb and it works fine. So I grabbed the control box, and yes, I know this is the control box of that set of lights that I said that used to be over there before. In fact, it should be around here still. I did not take it home at all. So it probably is, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So that one's retired for good. I'm not using it for anything else. I'll see if I keep it just for the bulbs or something. Because, you know, it's fine when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bulbs that are out and you just undo them. But when you have a lot of wires coming off and everything, it's like, no, you know what? I'll just replace them. These Rise lights are cheap. And they're not really worth dealing too much with. So where was I? I showed those. I showed these that I rigged up this year. But now, these are the ones that are still musical. These are ones that I believe I bought this year. And they still have the musical thing and everything. So those are still musical. Yeah, those are still playing music. The Star, a classic of every year. I always have to replace lights and everything, but yeah. And that Santa, that's not original. That's a thing I just put there. The Santa Claus plush head. This year I didn't decide putting it outside because it's going to get really dirty, so I just put it in here. Again, we have those. So I think it's already enough documentation. Now we go with the tree, the Christmas tree. These are two light sets. Actually, if I already show them, I'm just gonna let them run through all the cycles. After all, I'm not really there. Those I'm not yet. Those are the ones for the outside. I'll be showing those shortly. There. Anyways. So these are 2 sets of lights that I bought last year. I believe they were cheap, so I was like, why not? You know, I tend to have leftover light sets, and that usually works out for the next couple of years. And I bought these, and they were cheap, as I said before, and they have a certain good thing about them. There's a certain, like, it's good, but I'm not too sure if it's good right now. And that is that they have, let me see if I can find the, because, you know, with these Christmas light sets, there's a few types. There's the ones that only have 2 light circuits or 2 light channels, like these, where they just go, you know, 2 channels, and they literally are just 3 wires coming off here. And then you have the others where they have around, I believe, 6 wires or so. As I said, there's a bunch. There's also the ones like this that have 4 wires, because it's 3 channels and 1 main negative. So it's always 1 main negative and the number of channels, and it's up to 5 wires. So these have the 5 wires. Yeah, they actually do have those 5 wires. But the boards they have are 2 channel wire, 2 channel circuits. So they basically had to connect two channels to each pad, meaning that they are going to work like those, where they just have, there's 2 colors, either red, green, or red, blue. Because it's funny, because actually these are connected wrong, because usually it's red with yellow and green with blue, but in this case I think they messed up and they put, I think it was red with green and red with blue, and then yellow with green and yellow with blue. I can't remember. Let me see. There's red and there's green, all reds and all greens on the top. And on the bottom, there's, yellow with green and red with blue. As I said, they messed up on that part. But again, it's good to know that these actually have all 4 channels, so you can actually control every single color. So if I ever wanted to, and I had a spare, which I do have, but I don't want to use them for this right now. If I had spares of these boards that have the 4 channels, I can just convert them to 4. This year I've been actually really intensive on repairing the old control boxes that I had, where, you had to change either a diode, a transistor. Usually the transistors fail on these things. They stay lit, or the diode just gets fucked out of nowhere and the thing just doesn't receive power. But believe it or not, the circuit board, only one the little board that it has, only one single thing was dead. The rest were functioning just fine. So it's a very big win. Of course, then we have this, which is something I've been putting here since I believe 2015, 2016 at most. As I said probably before, I'm not too sure, this used to be an 8 mode as well, but the lights would get too hot because there were not that many, so I ended up converting it first to a rechargeable battery, but then of course the battery ran out and I was like, nah, this doesn't have to be like this. So this year I actually put a phone charger over there, so that's taken care of. But yeah, then of course here we have the light set of the little plastic Christmas trees, which I changed the wire on. Again, these also have the 2 channels and there's just 3 wires, so it's just 2 channels. But as I said, like, there's, I believe, one version or one variation of each individual control, or each individual, possibility there is here. And let me explain why. Because there's from 2 channels, which is the least, to 4 channels, which is the most. And I already have at least one of each. I have mostly 2 channels, and then I have a 3 channel on the star. And there's, of course, the 4 channel, which is on the area over here, which I want to super quick show, and this is for every year to come, that the bottom one, the last LED is red, and the last LED for the top one is green. So that's something I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. But as I said, these do an actual use of every single channel they have, and they have as well the 5 wires. So let me just push these, and we're gonna see how those work. So every single color here lights up by itself. Now, as I said, on certain boards, it depends. It honestly depends on which one, but there are certain boards where you can actually modify this. Oh, what the fuck? There's a stupid fucking spider there. Fucking spider. Anyway, you guys can see every single color lights up by itself without any other lighting up at the same time. So again, it's fairly simple. In some of them there is a way to be modified, and this is something I want to tell for anybody who's interested. There's boards that actually offer that, and there's boards that don't. For example, this one, I'm pretty sure it offers it because it has 3 channels, more than 2, so there's already the capability for 4. This one as well, even though this one's musical and has nothing to do with the effects or anything, this actually has a 4 channel as well. You can actually put 4 channels. You just have to find the transistors, which are fairly hard to find. At least here they are fairly hard to find because they are PCR 406, I think it was. PCR 406, I think that was the name of the transistors, and those they either die on these things, or you can actually put more to boost it and add more features. Because in some I did actually have to add a channel or 2, and they always work. Yeah, the little boards are always programmed to use every single channel they can, and it's up to the little board that you put it on, the larger board you put it on that has the button and everything, if they use it or not. They just, you just have to install a transistor, and that's it. They are gonna work. So again, 2 channel. What else? What was I saying? Again, as I said, some do offer, and I believe this one does offer it as well. I'm gonna have to corroborate. Yeah, this is one of those that actually offers it, because you can see the longer board. Usually the ones that have 2, they have 2 circuits. I'm gonna actually show that real quick. Hold on. All right, so screw fill. I'm gonna make sure to pick it up. Okay, no or yes. Yes, actually, yeah, because the other traces are visible. They are green, but underneath there should be silver. So this is one of those, again, sometimes you have the board just with not all of its transistors and you have the pads. Sometimes you just have to figure it out. because again, you guys have those two circuits, one over here, one over here. But of course, there's another circuit in the middle, and there's one circuit, I believe, before that one, which is this one. And there you have all 4 channels. Now again, those are the ones you can modify, but there's a few others, and I don't know exactly which one it is, that have a shorter board inside. And if it's shorter, no, this one's long. If it's a shorter board, it only has a program for 2 single channels, and that's it. I think it's this one, actually. I believe it's that one. I believe it's actually that one. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna pause the video again. Alright. Here we have the one that cannot be modified, because every single path is being used. Okay, this is the one that you cannot modify. And they usually have the same code number as well to see what part it is. But as I said, these you can't. They have the shorter board, and you don't really have any hidden trays or anything. As I said, in some cases you're just gonna have the board with nothing but those 2 transistors, and you're gonna have the board you can modify it with because it's there. Sometimes it's just not gonna be possible, just like this one. And some other times you are going to have everything laid out but without the transistors, meaning that all you gotta do is just add the transistors and change the light set by another one, or if it's connected, you know, if it has 2 channels per path, then you get the point. I don't think that's one that has the multiple channel thing, but I hope you guys understand what I mean. I'm actually, you know what, fuck it. I'm actually gonna pause the video again and take apart the one from this one. Yeah, it's gonna be the 3rd one I gotta take apart, but it's gonna be worth it, so I'll be back in a second. Alright, so here we go. This is the one I'm talking about that has all the circuits, but some are not just enabled. Again, it can be only 2, and it can be, as this one shows, it can be a 4th channel. Which again goes straight to the board, straight to the connection that I said before. Every single controlling box that has this large board is able to control up to 4 channels. So that's, I believe, everything. So I'm just gonna plug this one in. I'll turn the other thing on. Hopefully I don't touch the board, because if I touch the board, I'm done. Especially in the 220 volts area. You guys can see there the music starts playing. This one, okay. And of course, there's that one. There we go. So, I believe that's everything for now. That's everything I had to show about these light sets and about how they are placed. So, hopefully next year I can actually figure out how exactly they go and not have that many struggle again on, hey, how does this go? How does that go? Again, every Christmas I try to do this to make sure that the next Christmas I do put the things properly where when I first thought them to be. And hopefully that will help. So, that's, I believe, everything. Those lights over there. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that these do have a different board. The ones with a bigger controlling box, where the button is not at the center, like that, or like those, which is the same. Those do actually have a different board, but the entire, the micro board is the same. It's just the layout is different. They made it slightly bigger, slightly easier to press, and that's it. So that's practically everything. Now the only thing that that's left to do is the 24th. I'll bring the animatronics in. We're gonna see the Christmas display. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.